Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to June already. It's crazy. We're already into June. It's almost officially summertime.
All right, so June is busting out all over.
And Gen Con is slowly approaching us. So yay for that. Yay for Gen Con.
Right now, let's head into our game news this week then. And the biggest news is that Update 26 Warlock's Legacy preview is now on Lamania.
If I am correct, this is the first time that Update 26 actually has a name. Previously, they were just calling it Update 26. Apparently, it is now called Warlock's Legacy.
Well, it sounds like a natural name for the update.
I was going to say it makes sense since it, primarily revolves around the Warlock, so it's a good title for it. Yes, it is up on Lamania, and I checked earlier today, and Lamania actually is still up. So if you have not had a chance to check it out, you can still do so.
Yes, I was on Lamania until about 10 minutes before.
Well, see, I could have just asked you that.
Yeah.
Say, Pineleaf, is Lamania still up? Well, yes, I was just on it.
Yes, it's most definitely still up.
And, of course, with it being up on Lamania, that means we have release notes.
Ooh.
And we'll just give the standard caveat that we always do when we talk about Lamania. Anything and everything we talk about herein will probably be subject to change. Because, of course, Lamania is the test server, so this might change once we actually get it online. But the highlights of the Lamania release, of course, is the big one is the Warlocks. In the release notes itself, Cordovan said, "We're happy to introduce Warlocks on Lamania. These Eldritch casters form pacts with powerful beings and seek out rare and often forbidden knowledge." Ooh, that sounds so sinister. Amounts of damage with their Eldritch Blast and back that damage up with a variety of bluff, control, and utility abilities.
All right. Just a warning that if you do create a Warlock on Lamania, since they don't have everything ready yet, they don't have the pads up yet. So if you're someone who doesn't like to use the custom system, you'll probably have to wait a couple more builds before they have the pads up.
Yes, and not all the trees are up either, which we'll discuss later when we talk about our week in DDO, and you'll find out how sad I was to find out the one pack that or the one tree I really wanted to try was not available yet.
Well, I'm sure it'll be up soon.
Yes, I'm sure it will. There was also some combat changes. Many activated barbarian enhancement abilities will now break stealth that previously did not, such as an example, the Supreme Cleave. So apparently, you don't want a stealthy barbarian. That would probably be a bad thing.
Oh, I didn't know whether that was it would break the barbarian stealth or whether that breaks the stealth of someone in the area who's being hit by a Supreme Cleave.
I took it to be that it was the barbarian in stealth and it would break it. But I never thought of it your way, though.
Because I would have thought that just attacking at all would break
that
stealth of anyone.
That might make sense, though. It might have been that the barbarian was attacking something that was in stealth and it wasn't breaking the stealth. That makes more sense, actually.
Right, because we are talking about Supreme Cleave, and it sounds like something that might break stealth if someone's in there.
Right.
Yeah.
But as a rogue, I highly oppose that, though.
I think you highly oppose a barbarian hitting you with Supreme Cleave.
Well, this is true. This is very true, too. I do not want to be hit by a Supreme Cleave. Not at all. There is also some changes in the DDO store. The bag deposit box is now renamed to the Shared Bank Crafting Storage, which that tends to make sense because basically everything I use my bag deposit box for is crafting stuff. So I can see why they made that change. And it is also now possibly to craft remotely from your shared bank craft storage supply. The Eldritch devices and the Barter UI NPCs will now automatically search crafting storage for recipe ingredients.
Thank goodness.
Which this is awesome. This is very awesome. I know coming from, I also play Guild Wars 2. Well, I play Guild Wars as well, but in Guild Wars 2, you can do the same thing when you craft. It takes it out of your bank and your crafting storage. So this will make crafting, which I'm still giving crafting a try.
Oh, I keep on forgetting it exists.
Yeah, well, I'm still not a big fan. Sorry, Lessa. But this will make it a lot nicer that I can just throw everything into there and just go at it. And Nithpon in the chat room says very excited about that. So apparently a lot of players are going to be happy about that change.
All right, then.
The shared bank crafting storage will still accept the same items from the bag it accepted when it was just called the bag deposit box, even items that are not necessarily crafting ingredients. So that is good that you can still use that for other items and not just crafting.
That, I guess, was more of a clarification than anything else.
Yeah, correct.
Just make sure that, no, just because we changed the name doesn't mean we're nerfing it.
And then we had some changes to the glamored weapons. The weapon auras should no longer disappear when you're changing zones. And monster manuals got a little bit of tweaks as well. The following creatures have been added to their respective monster manual volumes. Mountain lions, cursed ritualist, gargoyle colossus, Baknar, temple rust monster, tempest, Gorkthank the wily, knobbed bound firebat, fiend blood troglodyte ranger, that's a mouthful. Fiendish troglodyte archer, skirmisher, shaman, sniper, and warrior, hellfire, hell scorpion, drunken sorcerer, pirate, Armaba, whatever that is. Apparently we've never run into one of them yet. Gorgar the mighty, hobgoblin opportunist, Jack Jibbers, now that's an amazing name, and the mutinous first mate Chakra are all added to the monster manual. And then the other, I think, biggest change was they did do little tweaks to some of the quests and your adventure areas. The flea players, wow. Let's strike that from the record. Free players can now enter the Amaroth public area in Shabaroth. The Denjabi Brothers event, Antonio Crafton no longer has a string table error during his dialogue, which I think I have actually seen that one time. When that Succubus event was live, I did see that string error, and I think I did bug that when I saw that as well on live. And the temple got some changes.
Ooh, wow.
And one of these changes, one person on this podcast is going to be excited about.
Oh.
We'll leave it up to you to decide who that person will be.
Okay.
The chance to get rare encounters in the Temple of Elemental Evil Part 1 has been increased. The XP of almost all optional objectives has been increased. And in most cases, the XP has been doubled. So that's good. Because I did notice, even doing it at hard, it wasn't really awarding a lot of XP. So it's nice to see that they're kind of tweaking the XP on it.
What level were you doing it at?
I was actually doing it on level. I tried it once on level to see if that would make a difference in my quest for my named loot, and now it did make a difference.
Okay.
The non-mythic versions of the named items now drop. Like their mythic counterparts, they are found in both end chest and random encounters, but are most often found in the random encounter chest. But here, the most important part. Pull up a chair and listen closely, everyone. The dropped rate of the mythic named items appearing in random encounter chests has been increased.
I think, but that just means that but you're still leaving it to the random number generator.
But there's a better chance because the drop rate has been increased.
Okay.
The odds are getting more and more ever in my favor.
Okay.
And this is another nice one. The Wands of Wonder now drop less frequently.
I'm sure you're cheering about that one too.
And I get an amen for that.
If I remember correctly, you've just been leaving Wands of Wonder in chess for quite a while.
Yeah, I pretty much do anymore. I'm like, oh, look, another Wand of Wonder. That's nice. How quaint.
Of course, the fact that I usually already have one in my inventory and you can only have one.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other change in the temple is the effects granted by the altars are removed when leaving the quest, which I guess I never noticed that those effects stayed on you.
Oh, yes. I remember I was on yesterday for something on my Artificer. I forgot what I was doing there. But halfway through, I was saying, oh, that's right. I was going through some of the neighborhoods in the harbor. And I was saying, whoa, where did I get this buff from? Then, of course, a couple minutes later, I remembered, oh, yes, that's from the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Aha, okay. Yeah, I guess I never paid attention to my buffs. And that is pretty much it for the Lamania patch notes. There was, of course, the Warlock, couple trees that were up, which we talked about earlier. We're not going to go into that because we talked about that a couple episodes ago. And I kind of glanced over it, and it looks like not much has changed from what we originally reported about. So, but you can click over in the article on DDO players on the Lamania release notes to a link to the release notes on the forums, and you can read them directly from the forums if you would like.
All right. Dracula, do you want to hear something gross?
Sure.
Issue 144 of the DDO Chronicle is up.
Why is that gross? Oh, I see what you did there. Math jokes.
Yes, math jokes.
In the gross DDO Chronicle this week, in the community spotlights, Macadope brings a gun to a knife fight with a new character build. So click on that to find out this strange, apparently, character build. I will admit I did not click to read that, so I don't know what that's about. And speaking of character builds, if you're looking for the most currently updated player-created character planner, the Character Builder Lite is now available for all to check out. And I did play around with that a little bit, and it's pretty amazing and pretty in-depth what you can do with it. But then again, I'm not one to ever really like min-max my characters, so I didn't, spend a lot of time with it, but I did play with it, and you can really plan out your character to the T if you want to.
This is an interesting build. This is the build is talking about is level 14 Paladin, level 6 Rogue.
Oh, the gun to a knife fight?
Yeah.
So how's that a gun? I'm confused. Because a Paladin would probably use a mace.
No, this one won't be using any maces because the strength is only 8.
Well, then how is he bringing a gun to a knife fight? I'm totally confused.
Yeah, I don't know, but it looks like dexterity is 15, and intelligence is 18.
I could see the dexterity for the rogue part.
Yeah.
And Nithpon in the chat says, I'm not into min-maxing either, but the planners are very useful for not making gimped builds. And that I could see just playing with the character planner a little bit. Because I was planning on doing something with another rogue that I'm thinking about building for something, and I kind of put that into the character planner, and I saw it was going to be severely gimped, and I never would have known that if I wouldn't use that character planner. So there was one thing that I didn't think about. But anyway, back to this gun to a knife build. Why so high of intelligence? What are they using the intelligence for?
Oh, that's a good question. What is the... Well, probably to get a huge number of skills. I'm sure that's involved in there somewhere. Let's see, double check.
Bard's Rock in the chat is saying the int is for damage.
Then probably...
Mechanic enhancements, they're saying.
Yeah, probably has an enhancement that uses damage instead of strength for damage.
Well, I will definitely have to look at that build then and see that.
It is rather strange. I had never thought of mixing a paladin with a...
Rogue, no, because that kind of seems against what a paladin would be, but
Now, it looks like the final stats, must have gone, after all equipment and all that stuff is strength 37, dexterity 44, con 56, int 56.
Wow.
Wisdom 36 and charisma 35. Wow, that's quite a lot of stats.
That is quite the build. I will have to look into that. Also in the Chronicle. Oh, you got more?
But 8 epic levels also.
Well, of course. In the event section of the Chronicle, Mykar's 10-week challenge is continuing. Last week it was Against the Demon Queen. That was the challenge quest. And that would be a real challenge, I would think. So click over in the forum post to see how players did with that. Fansite news, the Damsels of DDO had episode number 16. That is now available up on YouTube. And that is, if I do believe, is when they went into the Epic Orchard of the... So they were running the Orchard for that. Dirty Kobold had their episode, I do believe was episode number 4. That was True Reincarnation is what they were talking about. DDO Cast had their recent episode about crossbow builds. They're on episode number 383, which just amazes me that they're nearing 400 episodes. That is awesome. And also the Long Shot has some advice for new DDO players in his latest blog post. So check over to read that out. And in the official screenshot of the week, it's a pretty psychedelic, funky, trippy little screenshot where Set gets lost in the dreaming dark in the 224th DDO screenshot of the week.
You're saying an Egyptian god is getting lost?
It's been known to happen, finally.
Okay.
Sometimes gods get confused, that's all I'm going to say.
All right.
And that's it for the DDO Chronicle this week.
Very well. Then let's head into our store sales. Anything nifty for sale?
We've got a wonderful free sample this week, which would be the small Jewel of Fortune. You get one of those when you use the coupon code LOOT29, LOOT29.
That one even makes a little bit of sense.
It does. That's what I was going to say. That one does kind of make sense for once. One of those per account, as always. So make sure you use it on the character that you want. Well, I guess it would be bound to account, so you could trade it to characters, but you can only use it one time, so use it whenever you think you get
do it on the right server.
Jewel of Fortune. That's right. There you go. You do it on the right server. 20% off this week. Astral Shards and the Guild Renown Elixirs, and 50% off the Guild Charter and the Guild Airship Beacon. All in the DDO store this week.
All right, very well. Let's go into our site news, and the poll for this week is, what part of the producer's letter are you most excited about?
And I was actually kind of surprised at how this turned out.
Ooh.
It was pretty close, actually. For a while, two of these were actually tied, but towards the end, one of them did pull out. The winner with 28% of the votes, which equaled to 19 votes, was the updated and epic version of Green Steel. In a very close second, 26% with 18 votes, so only one vote separated these two this week, was the data center move.
There must be a lot of people with lag if they're excited about a data center move.
Yeah, and I kind of think a lot of people are excited about that is because they're thinking that's probably going to help poor Galanda and all of the woes that they
Oh, yeah.
have.
I'm sure anyone here who's from Galanda probably voted for that one.
As I saw on Twitter today, poor G-Land was down again today for a while. And it went down Friday as well. So poor Galanda needs some love, and maybe the data center will help that. We had some
At least the new equipment should.
Yeah, well, one would hope. Had some comments on this week, and the funniest one, I think, that was left, and it does make sense if you think about it, is Jeff Hanna said the fact that we have two producer letters in a row from the same producer. I'll just let that set for a second. And Saki said, how could you not be excited by Epic Shavarot? One of my favorite wilderness, very immersive, a Manchurian storyline continued, and a floating city. So there you go. Look for a new poll. Probably I'll put that up tomorrow, maybe. I actually didn't know what I was going to do until before the show. We kind of decided what a good poll would be. So, and once again, if you have any ideas, any suggestions for any good polls, you can email those to podcast@ddoplayers.com. And we will certainly use your poll because it's hard to make up poll questions.
All right, then let's go to our week in DDO. And what did you do this week on DDO?
Well, I was over on a little server called Lamania, checking out a little thing called the Warlock. Played around with the Warlock a little bit. I was kind of disappointed, and this is where I was a sad panda this week, that I could not check out the Soul Eater.
Oh.
Because that's what I want my Warlock to be. He's gonna choose the Fiend Pact with the Soul Eater tree. So, boo-hoo, I couldn't do that. But I enjoyed it. I played around with Tainted Scholar is the tree I was playing around in. And overall, I thought it was pretty fun. I'm not a big caster person. I usually don't play caster players, even in pen and paper. I can maybe count 2 times maybe that I've actually played a caster in pen and paper ever. And I do have one caster on live now, and I don't play it that much. That was originally going to be, well, we originally took those characters through the temple, and then we decided we were going to take our regular characters through. So
Right.
I decided I was going to turn her into a Pale Master, and which I'm doing, so I'm enjoying playing her, but I was kind of looking forward to the Warlock just because the Elder Lich Blast is just pretty cool to use and amazing. When I was
boom, 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 boom.
And then when I was reading what the Soul Eater tree could do, I was like, yes, that is what I want to do. So I'll be reporting back on what I think about the Soul Eater when that goes up, which I'm assuming there'll be a new build of Lamania soonish, and we might get the Soul Eater because they are looking for suggestions on that in the forums now. So that's a good sign for that. Other than that, my 14 Rogue is still in the Giant Hold. I attempted, and let me put that in big, bold letters, attempted to do the Crucible. Oh my god, whoever designed that quest needs taken out back and beat severely. That quest is horrible.
Really?
Oh, that quest is horrible.
Worse than some of the stuff that we're getting in the Necropolis?
Yes. Oh, I would go to the Necropolis all day long than ever have to set foot in the Crucible again.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I got almost all the way through it, and then I could not figure out my way through the second part of the maze to get the last thing I needed, and I just got so just mad, I just basically quit. I was like, I'm done with this. This quest is horrible. I may attempt it again at some point, but I really don't know. I need to look up to see if that's one of them. Because I would kind of like to get flagged for the Titan raid. Not that I probably will ever run it, but at least I'll be flagged for it. And I'm not sure if the Crucible is one of the quests that you need to do to get flagged for it. If it is, yeah, I'm never getting flagged for that quest. Well, I'm telling you. I can't wait till we go in the Giant Hold and we can try the Crucible, and then I just want to hear your reaction, and then I'll say, yep, see, told you so. But if anybody listening likes the Crucible, good on you. Good on you. That's all I'll say. That was really all I did on my Rogue this week. I pretty much just rage quit for a while because, yeah, that quest is just horrible. My Ranger Rogue, which is level 13, we did the Temple of Elemental Evil Part 2, as we did Part 1 last week, and I will let you talk about that. Nithbon in the chat says, whoever created the Crucible quest should be teleported into it. And I agree. And left there for days, and days with no food and no water. But I digress.
All right, then. This was my first time through Temple of Elemental Evil Part 2 to see what that was like. And Drac wasn't exactly familiar with it either, since the last time he went through there, someone else was driving.
Well, driving more like speeding would be the way to put it. But yeah. So yeah, I had no clue what to really expect. So
right. So we were going on there trying to get the various bars. We got lost on a course a couple of occasions, but we did eventually reach the boss fight, and then we promptly got killed.
No, we didn't promptly get killed.
Okay, you're right. We didn't promptly get killed. We actually came pretty close to winning that one, if I remember.
Yes, we did. She was down to, I can't remember the exact number, but if I had to say a percentage, she's probably down to what, maybe 15% of her health, maybe? She was really low. We had, and if I could have got over to the mushroom and got sheltered, we probably could have won that. But I either lagged or I got held or something happened and I couldn't run over to the mushroom in time, and the area of effects got me. But we gave it a valiant try, and we actually did a lot better than I thought we were going to.
I started a wizard for my permadeath series, where I ran through the Korthos village area. Then I went to Korthos Island and did redemption and stopping the Zulwagan. And I concluded something that you pretty much concluded a month ago, and that is hirelings are currently stupid.
What?
In fact,
Hirelings or
either that or they need some good set of glasses. Because there are a couple of times when my hireling will see someone right in front of her and actually finally attack. But outside of that, the hireling will not do anything.
Yeah. Hirelings are dumb, basically, at this point. I'm
Right.
surprised it's taken you this long to figure that out.
Well, I think I was suspecting it and stuff like this, but to the level of outrageousness of it, not visible until I'm actually soloing and having a chance to look at it and staying back as a wizard.
Well, that's true. I guess you would have a better view of it from the wizard's perspective. And I was going to ask you last week when we were in the temple, is your mechanical dog, is he that stupid or does he actually do what he's supposed to? Because I usually don't pay attention to your dog when we're like questing.
Yeah, I think usually in the temple, I'm so busy doing other stuff that I'm not keeping to. I think my dog is actually doing stuff. I hear the sounds, like my dog breathing fire and stuff like this. So I think my dog is actually doing something.
Okay, so it's actually just the hirelings.
Yeah, and I'm
themselves.
very sure that summoned creatures are doing stuff.
Okay, that's what I wondered because I never really, like I said, the only way I would have really seen it would have been your dog, and I didn't pay that much attention. And I haven't played my Pale Master, so I don't know about my skeleton at all. I guess I should play my Pale Master and see how my skeleton acts and see. But anyway, yeah, Turbine, look at your hirelings; they need help.
Right. Now, therefore I decided after this is that doing a permanent wizard with the AI of hirelings that bad, that's a no-go. So I decided to postpone doing the wizard and tabling the wizard until they fix that. And on my fighter, then I started running on my fighter. And I created a new fighter, Warforged. This is the first time I'm playing a fighter, first time I'm playing a Warforged. And I ran through all of Korthos Village and all of Korthos Island. So I finished up Korthos Island all the way up to Misery's Peak. So that's working a lot better since, let's face it, fighters don't have to worry as much because soloing with a wizard is very tough. But fighters, they're pretty much made for it. I'm doing this without a hireling. If I do decide to do it with a hireling, I might decide to add a cleric because they do seem to heal. They just don't know how to fight.
Well, sometimes they heal.
Okay, they sometimes heal. You're right.
Let's not get crazy. We'll say sometimes they heal.
They're not being consistent in their healing, but at least I see my heal numbers going up. And if worse comes to worse, I can always hit a button and say, okay, could you please give me a cure light wound?
Exactly. Can you please do your job and heal me?
Thank you. I also took the Warlock for a test bin on Lamania. And one of the things I noticed is that the hirelings seem to actually be paying attention to stuff on Lamania. So it could be that they have, so either A, I was just on things very lucky. Now, this is after setting the hireling to aggressive. Before that, the hireling wasn't doing much, but perhaps I wasn't getting hit much at that point when I saw them doing nothing. But I know that on aggressive, the hirelings were actually doing stuff. And when I say doing stuff, I was seeing the hireling as soon as the enemy enter. Before I see the enemy enter, the hireling is running out to them and bashing them.
Really? Well, see, when I was on my Warlock, I didn't have a hireling with me, so I should check that and see.
The other thing I noticed is that they don't have the rewards in yet for the grotto, and I'm going in there and saying, okay, where's my armor?
Oops! See, I just jumped to level 4 and skipped all that. I never do Korthos anymore unless I have to, if I'm going to help somebody over on Korthos.
Well, I'm doing the permadeath thing. So
well, yeah. The one thing and of course this is Lamania, so the only thing I noticed is when I was in a quest today, and I can't remember, it was the one where you have to smash all the boxes in the warehouse and it's timed.
Right.
I smashed 10 boxes, and when I hit the 10th one, I got some weird debuff on me to where I literally was running one step about every 2 seconds.
Yeah, that is something that...
I wasn't lagging, though. It wasn't lag, because I pulled up my ping and everything to the server, and I wasn't lagging. I just had some kind of weird debuff, so I don't know what that was about.
Well, I had run into that also. And what I noticed is that whenever I turned off Eldritch Blast, that would happen to me.
Oh, and that's what I did because at first I had that on and then I turned it on. Oh, I should bug
Right.
that. I bet that's a
did
bug
notice, though, that after I took the enhancement that allowed me to turn Eldritch, where I could have an aura up instead of Eldritch Blast,
then.
after I did that, that feature seemed to go away. So
Hmm.
because I had turned off the aura and Eldritch Blast in it, and that stopped happening. But it looks like that using the aura, for example, I could still hit with my weapon, and the aura works, and I was not running slowly. And I think it also, even when I turned them both off, it was working after that point. But before that point, yes, turning off Eldritch Blast caused me to go extra slow.
Well, I'll have to go back on the Mania then and try that again and see if that happens and bug that.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely a weird bug then.
Yeah, because I was wondering, what in the world?
Yeah, because I failed the quest because I'm like, okay, this apparently I'm going to speed up. This must be some weird, for some reason I got a debuff. But I didn't have anything up, any icon up for one. And of course I failed the quest and I went outside and I was still going slow. So I logged out and logged back in and then I was fine.
Oh, that's strange because whenever I went outside, it didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
But I believe that I always turned Eldritch Blast back on before leaving the dungeon.
Yeah, I didn't even think about turning it back on. Yeah, because I turned it off because I thought, well, there's no mobs in here. So all I'm going to be doing is hitting boxes, so I don't really need to be blowing them up. So I turned it off, and that's when I got slow. So I bet that's the key. So I'll have to play with that. Anyway, what was your impressions of the Warlock early?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be playing what I'm going to be doing is that when the Warlock gets released, actually probably in July, which that might be around the time it gets released anyway, I think I might have a little YouTube series.
Oh, so apparently you enjoyed it a lot then.
Yeah. It's an interesting, different take on where DDO. We'll see how that, if I still am of that opinion when it gets released.
And you're planning on going Tainted Scholar, I think you had said?
No, I think Enlightened.
Oh, okay, yes, that's right. Yeah, you were Enlightened.
And in the Temple of Elemental Evil board game, I finished up Beneath the Somber Hills, and that was the closest game of Temple I've ever played. It was coming down, I had the boss on the board and 2 opponents on the board. Actually, I think maybe even 3 monsters on the board. So I had 2 or 3 monsters plus the boss. And I was getting pinned into a corner. I was down, really way down, and I had the boss down to 2 points. So I decided what I was going to do was try to kill one of the mobs that was going against me, but I decided no matter what, I was likely going to get killed this turn. So what I was going to do is I decided to fire at the boss, hope for a crit. If I got a crit, it'd be 2 damage and I would win. Well, of course, I only got a normal hit, so the boss was down to 1. So therefore, I drew the encounter card to see what encounter card I was going to get before being blown up completely to bits. I mean, the encounter card was probably going to be overkill, either kill me instantly or whatever. But what it turned out to be was Windswept. And what Windswept does, it removes you from the board, puts a monster in your place, and on the next turn, you return to the board anywhere you want. I could not have had a better timed encounter if I had stacked the deck.
And are you sure you didn't?
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't know that encounter existed. Therefore, next turn, I plopped my thing away from the rest of the monsters, 2 squares away from the boss, and wasted it with my crossbow.
That skill seems a little overpowered, don't you think?
What?
You can move any monster 2 squares away from you?
No, the crossbow allows you to fire at any...
Oh, okay. All right, I see what you're saying.
Yes, I was able to fire. I do have a skill that allows me to move a monster, but that requires me to be adjacent to the monster in order to use that one.
All right, okay. All right, that makes more sense.
But yeah, I put myself to it. Because the thing is that the Windswept allowed me to land anywhere on the board after being Windswept.
Right, yeah. Which, yeah, there's pretty much a card like that in most of the Adventure Box games.
Right, but if I remember correctly, the one in Castle Ravenloft, you take damage. No, you get attacked 3 times.
You get attacked 3 times if you play it.
Right,
so
therefore, most likely, I would have been killed while doing that one. So in this version, since you don't get attacked during the Windswept, either that or it was a single attack that I managed to survive. So therefore, I got through that and I managed to win by the skin of my teeth because let's face it, if I drew any other encounter, I'm pretty sure I would have lost it.
You do seem to get those cards at just the right time. Either that or you pulled the right monster or something, or you get the boss at the most opportune time.
Yeah. Like, there are a couple of times where I've pulled a doppelganger at what I thought were very fortuitous moments.
Exactly.
If you would like to help DDO players, go to our donations page where you can support the Players Alliance, the network we are a part of, on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players News, or even to be a guest host with us. We don't have any iTunes reviews this week, nor do we have any featured comments. So if you'd like to be featured in our comments, then just comment on one of our articles with something nice and interesting. It looks like some of our best comments came during the poll, which we answered earlier. If you would like to email us, you can send the email to podcast@ddoplayers.com, and you can also follow us at Twitter. The Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have the DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have the Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. And you can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to loot those treasure chests.